Hello and welcome. Okay, good afternoon, everyone. So it's our second session, second one on data analytics and training and development. Okay, so the name is data analytics in training and development. We had one class. So anything that you would like to say regarding the first class? Did it give you a sense of what we are heading for? So we covered the syllabus. One is we covered the implications of each section. There are 6 modules. Plus, I understand that you already have this book, the book which has been given by ISTD, which looks like this. Okay, so just as a repeat, hopefully you get this book. Okay, if not, have this book, because to answer, not that we require a great amount of, concepts on R and Python, or be a data analyst or be a data scientist, but since the program is on data, so that part will remain, but the focus is definitely on L&D. Okay, that is where we'll head. Fortunately or unfortunately, I'll have to stop at the 5th session when it really gets into HR. But it's a tipping point. 5 classes are enough. The next faculty would take you through the next part, which would include more of L&D, dashboard, metrics, etc. Okay. Any quick reflections on the first one which we had on the last Sunday, which was it? It was on 27th of August. Anything that is on top of your mind or any concern that you have?
Sir, you gave us a task to prepare some PPTs in groups. So we have worked on that and would like to show those. And so I think all the group leaders would like to show this.
Okay, thank you, Nilanjan. So we will do this after. Yeah, so I got all your teams last time. So we'll do it at the end. Okay, so that first we have what is supposed to be covered today, and then we go into your presentation. But I'm very happy that you took it so seriously and that you did a great job. And I understand that you've been keeping together. You're a group which is very unionized, or what would I say? Or you work in cartels, okay? So you work, which is good. Which is good that you keep together, because as I always say, peer learning is much better than one person. And adult learning at this stage, definitely there's a lot to learn from many other sources. So the facilitator is just
दीपिका
okay.
दीपिका पाठक ठीक है सर, मैं दोनों दे देती हूँ आपको.
Vaishali, can you mute yourself, please?
Okay, let me mute on the host.
Vaishali Pandey, please mute yourself.
यहाँ पे तो नहीं है सर. पता करना पड़ेगा सर यहाँ का तो.
Vaishali, mute करके पता कर लो.
Okay, I have muted her. So you know. So still not muted.
हाँ, इतना में तो सर कॉर्पोरेट में हम सोच सकते हैं.
Okay, I think it's muted. So again, welcome everyone. I mean, try to be here at this time because you have, given all your time and attention. So try not to multitask as much as you can. Okay, let me begin today. I know that, it's a Sunday, so there'll be so many things. God had given Sunday as a Sabbath day for people to do their course, for people to wash their clothes, to cleanse themselves, to be ready for another week. But you don't have the luxury. You're working people. So Sunday again becomes one more whole working day. But be that as it may, for this time, try to cut out and say that we'll talk at 3:30 or 3:15 or whichever, and the class is sort of ending. So let me share what I planned today. Hopefully you will find some value. So we will not get into something very new, because we'll slowly grow upon data, which we knew the last time. So analytics and big data. What is the difference between data and big data? Anyone?
So bigger chunk of data.
Heavy in size.
Yeah.
More vast, more tedious.
But more difficult to process.
And storage also, big storage required.
Correct. So there's a byte size. Okay, that is the technical answer is beyond certain bytes, it becomes big data. What is a byte? A byte is, you know, eight bits. 8 bits is one byte. And then you have terabytes, megabytes, zottabytes. So we'll get into those spaces. And today, I mean, huge amount of data, and therefore cloud, AI, they're taking up. I mean, they're right now here. At one time, it was slightly futuristic, but now all of us know about everything because we have to use send presentations on cloud. People are having competitions. For example, we are having a best trainer. People are sending heavy videos. How will they say it? So that becomes big data. So I wanted to start with by showing you a picture of somebody whom I admire. Can you tell who she is?
Shakuntala Devi.
Shakuntala Devi, mathematician.
Shakuntala Devi.
Computer,
Okay.
right? A human computer.
Yes. The only question, she came to our school in 1972 when I was in class 5. So I had the occasion of seeing this lady personally as a student. One answer she couldn't give, 9 to the power 9. She said it will take me not only this blackboard, but across the globe I'll have to write the numbers. So I'll not take this question. But the rest, she did everything, so well. Which was a movie which was portrayed by, which was on her.
Yeah, Vidya Balan, I think she portrayed.
Shakuntala.
Very good. Movie wasn't too great because, they compromised on, they have to put in, all this curry powder and masala. But what was the name of that picture? I forget the name.
I think Shakuntala itself, sir, name was.
No, not Shakuntala. Anyway, but yes, Vidya Balan played that role. Okay, so, if you talk of mathematics, if you talk of numbers, this is another person who comes to our mind. Who was this guy?
Ramanujan.
Ramanujam. Okay, Ramanujam was, again, all are from South India. Somehow English and mathematics, even if you talk of Pragyanan, the current chess champion, I think he would be very good in maths, and so would be Vishwanathan Anand. Now, not to profile people, not to stereotype that, in one part, but there is something about, there is a magic. So here also there was a movie made by one guy. Can you tell me the movie? On Ramanujam, which was not very recent. So if you look up, there's a movie called The Man Who Knew Infinity. It's by Dev D. Okay. So try watching that movie because it was better made than this Shakuntala movie. The quality of Ramanujam's work, his failures, plus there's a difference. Ramanujam's story is slightly more, what would I say? It was not as successful as Shakuntala. Shakuntala was acclaimed all over the world. This guy had to face a lot of problems in Cambridge, wherever he went, because, and this racial discrimination always has, impacted Indians with great potential. So see this movie by Dev Patel or Dev D, Man Who Knew Infinity. Okay. Now, what is about, this is a Gartner, it is there in your book also. So statistics and analytics. Okay, they are not too different, only that statistics is a basis, unless you know a mean, median, mode, which are the measures of central tendency. What is a mean? Let me quickly come here and then go to slideshow. What is a mean?
The mean is the average of
mean is the average. Let's say we are now 24 people in the class. So if we speak for 10 minutes each, so there will be an average. 24 into 10 by whatever. Out there are 50 persons in a class and their heights are 60 centimeters, 65. So you do summation of everything, divide. What is a median?
Sir,
Mid value.
Yeah, if we place all the data set from ascending to descending order
in a series,
the middlemost number is the median. Generally, in odd number series, in even number series, it is easy to determine. But in odd number series, it will be average of the two in between numbers. For example, 27 is the
Nilanjan
greatest rate. It will be
Nilanjan
13.
should get a chocolate or a Cadbury. I mean, you know everything. Okay, but these are very basic questions, but you know, many people have a doubt. So what is the median? Let's say there's a distribution A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Now here it is easy. You can quickly choose D. A, B, C, 3 to the left, E, F, G, 3 to the right. But if it is A, B, C, D, E, F, then the median will be between C and D or D and E. Okay, so that is where the problem comes. So odd is better, even is, I mean, you have to do one step ahead. What is mode?
Having the highest frequency, the number repeating the most.
Very good. So the most popular number, that is what our teacher taught me. So the number which is most popular or the character which is most popular, let's say heights of children in classroom. So one guy is 4 feet 2 inches, one is, you know, so many centimeters. The one which recurs continuously, or when you get your marks, let's say everybody gets 88, 88, 88, 85, 24. God forbid nobody gets 24. So 88 becomes the most popular number. Okay, this is one metric. The other is where statisticians are improved. You know, or any cephalogist, now that voting will happen, or today there's a match between East Bengal and Mohan Bagan, okay, in Calcutta. So there's a lot of excitement. Or I don't know where it will happen, but these are arch rivals. So they look at how many times each team won. Similarly, between Barcelona and let's say Manchester. So we all watch soccer. So mean is a very important metric, mean median mode. The other is how far you are away from the mean median mode. These are known as measures of dispersion. So what are the main ones which we consider as measures of dispersion? For example, the mean of the class is 60, one guy got 24, which is very much beyond the mean. And in increments also, in HR also, you know that when we distribute your performance appraisal, there would be a mean appraisal, Janta category, which means that so many people will get a solid contributor. In IBM, we used to have a 1, then there was a 2 plus, then there was a 2, then there was a 3, then there was a 4. So what is the connotation? 1 was creme de la creme. Okay, you are outstanding. So, which is meaning that you are actually working at the next higher level. What is a 2 plus? You are above average. So there used to always be a fight. Sir, I was like number 1. And I'll tell you these stories. Okay, because people reported and nobody likes being a 2 plus. They all want to be 1. Then there is a 2, which is a solid contributor. So this is Janta, you know, people who will get more or less the same increment. They are known as solid contributors. What is a 3 rating? Means watch out. 4 is time to pack up. Or else they give you something known as, let me write it here. And all of you will be having these realities just to spice up our discussion. What is a PIP?
Performance
Performance improvement plan.
Oh God, all of you, you know, you're so good. So it's a performance improvement plan which people give, and if you can't do it, then obviously the road is outside. Now, which by HR would be bothered about which category of people?
Not performing, performance is low.
Yeah, those whom you are giving 1 increment, for example, I'm taking IBM, those you are giving super increment, and those who are being told to leave or being given a PIP, because their bosses will also have a word. There's always a team discussion. Why is this guy getting so much? He has gone abroad, so don't give him so much increment. That is how IT companies work. Okay, he's a good guy, but let him wait. So many things go on when you do a TBDM. What is a TBDM? Anyone? It is PQ, I mean, specific to IBM, but it happens every company.
To be decided metrics.
Sorry, one more time, Nilanjan.
TBD is like to be decided. So
No.
to be decided.
Team-based, let me remember. Team-based discussion, TBDM. TBDM was the process, which means, I mean, team-based discussion something, I'll remember. The idea is that when you give an increment, all the managers come in. For example, marketing or finance will get more increment. HR will get less increment. But you cannot have 2 rules or 3 rules in one company. So there's usually a moderation done, just like in papers. For example, let's say in ISTD, if Anita Chauhan thinks that this paper, why are people scoring so much? Or the diploma committee, let's not take national president, whoever is the diploma committee. So in, let's say, all the papers, 1 mark goes skyrocketing, everybody gets 95. So there'll be or in one paper, everybody gets 25. So these are the ones which will create a lot of controversy. So then there's a team-based decision model or something. That why should the guy get so much of increment? My man was equally good. So operations will say, my report was great. Why didn't you give him? Marketing will say, we are incentivized. They're spoiled guys. They'll not say much. HR will have to cry. Sir, we did so many recruitments. We did so many trainings. Sir, please give. Or madam, please consider. And the others you will consider those who are being told to go out. Or those who are given. So what is happening is the ones at the extreme of your distribution, which is a normal distribution. And let me show you this because it's important. Just one second. I'm just taking a normal distribution curve because this will come every time. Normal distribution curve. Okay. So let me open up something which has a picture and yeah. Where is the picture one? Normal distribution curve. Okay. Yeah, this is a better or a bell curve. Okay, all of you know this, but yet there's a statistical significance. So let me share screen. iPhone entered the okay. Share screen. Yeah, I wanted to show you this. All of you are, many of you must be accustomed with this picture. Are you?
Yes, sir. Bell curve.
Yes,
It's a bell curve. Okay. It's a bell curve. So what happens is, let's say 6 sigma. So how far you are away from the mean? So 50% is Janta beats expectation. Pretty much. I'm just taking an IBM parallel with something from the net, just taken from the net. Now, these people are below expectations means they'll have to be given a nudge, 15%. Serious underperformance, you'll have to think that whether, you'll be better off by letting them go. So serious underperformance and excellent performance are the ones which will need discussion. So, that is where all the time goes for management. That why should we give this guy so much? And always I hear that, he or she has gone abroad, he's gone to Nestle Sweden, he's gone to Tetra Pak. Sir, we have sent him on site, don't give him so much money. But an excellent performer is always an excellent performer. So, I used to remember one guy, Prabhuji in Tata Steel. Well, I always was good, Rahulji, but every time I was made not good. Because they have to fit the bell curve. Okay, so what I'm saying is the statistical significance of people away from the mean, away to the left or to the right, they would have. So these are known as measures of dispersion. Are we clear? Namrata has a question, I'm coming. But these are the two things I wanted to sort of state, which will come again and again in your life. One is central tendencies, which is easy to understand, mean, median, mode. One is slightly difficult to comprehend, that how far away am I from the mean? So we have a formula of a standard deviation. So are you 1 standard deviation away? Are you 2 standard deviations away? Or are you 3 standard deviations away? So if you look at this company which says we'll give only 3 defects in a billion. Who is this company? Anyone? I'll give 3 to 4 defects in 1 billion, which is a big ask. So for example,
Rolls-Royce.
Rolls-Royce is a good choice, Famida. Famida from LHH.
Yes, sir.
Okay, not Rolls-Royce. This is maybe Rolls-Royce, but who was the beginning of this,
Ford.
Ford, not Ford. It was a
Toyota.
Motorola. Okay. So maybe I'll send a case study of Motorola, how they did the
But
Six
I
Sigma.
think that was Six Sigma, if I'm not wrong.
Six Sigma.
Yeah, six errors in a million.
6 errors in a million. Okay, Rolls-Royce said 4.
Yeah.
Okay, all of you are correct. Maybe I knew this Six Sigma concept that was by Motorola. Okay, but now it's history. Many people are doing as good. In a service, it's more difficult because in a hotel or in a, you cannot inventory service. For example, you enter into a hotel and find bad sheets. I mean, the linen is dirty, which many a times we find. Or the water doesn't, it doesn't warm up. Giza is bad. So many a times when we travel, there'll be such defects. But if you can have 3 in a million, then you have reached Six Sigma. Okay, and I'll only have Namrata, your question.
So, sir, can you get back on that diagram, that
Bell
bell
curve.
curve? What was that? I just wanted to understand this again. That
Okay,
10%, the people who are below expectation, performance expectation. That so
Okay,
with
so
this 10%,
this is
what does this
just taken
mean?
from the net, Namrata. Okay, don't take it so seriously
Like,
and
is it
don't take it
percentage
too
of
hard.
people, or this is like, because इसके बाद जैसे incentives होते हैं, तो maybe पहले तो initially वो आया था mind में कि कैसे इन्होंने डाला हुआ है. So just wanted to
Yeah,
clear
I
that.
mean, there will be things to ameliorate, but when you give a rating, this is how it works. Okay, you can say move away from the bell curve, we'll have a 9 box. This is not my subject. I'm not getting into performance
Okay.
appraisal.
Oh,
I just wanted to sensitize you about standard deviation and range. Okay, for example, in a class, a guy gets 40 and one guy gets 15. Okay, when the total marks is 50. So the range of the class is 40 minus 20, 15, which is 25. So it's a huge range. Many people have scored 15, 16, 17, some have scored 25, some have scored 39, 40. So highest to lowest is range, and standard deviation is how far away you are from the mean. Now there's a formula. Okay, root mean square, I'm not getting into that. But Namrata, just to answer your question, this is 1 sigma away from the mean, let's say. Like I said, Motorola is 6 sigma. So there will be very few people beyond this 99.99 because it will never be 0. It will never touch this. As much as you can, I mean, area under the curve, there'll always be a possibility. You can be perfect and perfect and perfect. 6 sigma, 7 sigma, there's no end to it. Similarly, you can go low and low and low. It will be 0.00, 0.00, etc. Are we clear on this, Namrata?
yes, sir.
Okay, now this is on performance appraisal. This can be on marks in a class. This can be of height of children in a class. This can be on so many things. Okay, so this is where statistics would sort of stop. Statistics has said that I understand only this. So there's one good book, if you are interested, which our student gave in our school. There's a book by Erica. Okay, for those who are statistics minded, it's just very simple book. Mean, median, mode, standard deviation, range, formula. So if you are, it's not a book on analysis. Now, when you join industry, they'll say, we don't want statistics. Statistics is for cheating the people. Like Henry Ford has this, that give me all cars, which are black cars or something. Sorry, or somebody says statistics is bad. For example, we always say India's GDP is this. But does GDP really represent what is the health of India? Maybe not. So many people don't believe in statistics, they believe in intuition, but that's their prerogative. Any thoughts before we are getting deeper into this? Okay, Margaret, any questions?
So just one question.
Yeah.
Since we're talking about this statistics part of it, mean, median, mode, and all, honestly, I never really paid so much attention in the class during school. So very poor with this. Are we required to learn this for this paper? Just
It will come at the end. It will not be through me. So I tried, to message it to the best of my capability. But today, Margaret, are you clear about mean, median, mode, and range? And
yes, sir. Today I paid attention, so understood.
Yes. So things that you didn't do in class 9, 10, 11, 12, now is the time.
Yes, sir.
Okay, but there will be somebody there's a, book. I think module 6 talks of statistics. So he'll talk of histogram, he'll talk of a scatter diagram. So which will be at the tail end of this program. Okay, but good.
All right.
Very good that you found it instructive. You found it, so what now analytics? So now this is again, you put in a lot of protein and they'll say, well, we want analysis, we want Gartner. So Gartner is an American company who gives you this sort of a model. So from statistics, they say, okay, statistics is static. Analytics, we need continuous data streaming. So one is descriptive analytics. Okay, one side is difficulty, one side is value. Value means what is the value the corporation gets out of it. Difficulty is really getting into that space. And I'm describing them in. This is an important graph. So, for example, your sales historically had not been good. So people will try to attribute for what the sale has not been good. For example, I went to a place called Khadi Gramojyok, okay, Khadi store during COVID. So I saw the trial room empty, but they were allowing people to enter. 2022, I think. Second wave or some wave. Again, there was a panic. I think the second vaccine or the third vaccine was not yet. Elderly people were sort of impacted and children. So I said, look, then I looked up that people can have virtual trial rooms. Have you ever been to a trial room? With a, when you, let's say you're buying a tailored shop or you are buying something fitting your body. So there's always a trial room. They tell you that put it on, sir, madam, and see whether in a shoe or, let's not take a shoe or something which is body hugging, a garment. So how many of you have been to a trial room?
Many times, sir.
Many times. Okay, all of us have been. But I saw that trial room, because it's full contact, they had stopped trial room. Then I said that ye khadi shirt, it was in place called Central Avenue in Calcutta. I said, COVID, total COVID, we can't have. Then I read up somewhere they have virtual trial rooms. Okay, you can do everything virtually. You don't need to, somebody will come in and put at your collar and say, okay, this is loose, this is tight. So that is the first time I thought that, it is so difficult if you don't have a trial room, because, the sales are also gone. Plus, there were very few customers, but I asked him, so why did sales drip during COVID? Maybe no contact. Many people made IT-enabled surveys. They were very good. Now, second is diagnostic analysis. Why did it happen? So, what happened is a very straight line, that our sales was down, 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 or our sales was up, 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 up. Then diagnostic is, why did it happen? Maybe you did advertisements better if things were for the good. Maybe you had much more customer-oriented training. You had big projects. Somebody pumped in money. You had an angel investor, etc.
बराबर ही है क्या?
Sorry?
हाँ तो पढ़ेगी. अपने तुलना इससे क्यों करते हो? पढ़ेगी. ये 5-6 साल के है, तुम 12 साल के हो.
Could you please mute?
Okay, let me try to mute Dr. Prem, because sometimes people don't understand. I think I was able to mute him as a host. Okay. Okay, it's natural, don't. Let's try to overcome that. Okay, that will happen.
So could you repeat that thing again?
So what I said is that one is descriptive analytics, which is just saying that what happened. So the sales was down, or the sales was up, or your profits went down, etc. Now the next question is, from hindsight, you are getting into insight. Why did it happen? So data tells you that COVID was a big reason. Data tells you that people being comfortable in the home was a big thing. Nobody during COVID and still today, the IT companies tell that 2 days you go to office, and people really don't want to go to office because a lot can be done virtually. And you will agree with me. But yet, the social connect, they'll do all this, hello, I mean, whatever. So that is why did it happen. The next is, that is diagnostic, then is predictive. Now, what will happen? How can you predict that? Can somebody give me a hint? That predictive analytics and prescriptive, these are difficult to achieve. You can do descriptive, you can do diagnostic, but for predictive and prescriptive, you will not need tools. Can you tell me what is predictive?
So maybe the outcomes
Future,
of the diagnostic ones.
future this thing. So like predictive, we are doing, descriptive is like summarized form of all the information, the data. So data is turning into information and making sense of it. And predictive is then on basis of that historical thing or the present thing, you are talking about the future trend and how we're going to take it further.
Yeah, one is extrapolation. Okay, so the graph is going like this, you extrapolate. Y is equal to mx plus c. So m is the gradient, we are going up, 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 or we are going down, down, down. Okay, or it's sort of an equation which is a parabola, or it is not as mx plus c, it's not a linear one. It's a curve, it's a hyperbola. But still you can predict. The moment you can model something into a mathematical equation, it becomes easy. Remember your coordinate geometry days, parabola, hyperbola. I'll not bore you with all that. But these are all tools which are used by analytics people. For example, when they show vote share. Okay, I'm coming to Famida and Sutta Mehta in a minute. When they tell you about vote shares will increase, what do? They do an extrapolation. They take data that so many women voters, every day you see India Today or NDTV or Republic. So they'll show that how this splice and dice, or Virat Kohli, whether he'll score more runs in the next. So what they do is they take an average and they try to extrapolate. That is predictive. That this might happen. Yes. First, Famida Hu, and then Sutta, and then Nilanjan.
I have a question. Does predictive data follow descriptive or they go hand in hand?
Okay, that's a deep question. Descriptive is no-brainer. Okay, what happened? Simple. So it's historical data, which people can give. For example, how many people employed? How many new products sold? So I'm talking of something which has already happened. Now your question is descriptive and predictive related? Is it?
So I'm talking about the sequence, as in
No, the sequence is descriptive, then diagnostic. As per Gartner, you can obviously have your Famida model, that is fine, but in your book, it's given as a Gartner model, which says descriptive is followed by diagnostic. Diagnostic means, why did it happen the way it did? Which will actually lead you to prescriptive analytics.
any place could we read more about this?
One more time, you want to read more about this?
Yeah, if you could recommend any sites where you could read more about the different kind of analysis and data like that, if possible.
Okay, if possible, I'll send it through. First, I'll send in basic, but since you are keen to know that you know how the Gartner really works, maybe a white paper on Gartner, I'll have to ask somebody. Earlier, I used to have these with me, but let me find out, okay? I'll give you, Pamita. Thank you. That's a good question. You wanted to know more about the Gartner. Okay, then we have Sutta Mehta.
Sir, in economics, we use, for demand forecasting, we use this demand function. Demand is a function of price of the good, price of, substitutes, income levels, tastes and preferences. Like you mentioned this example of visiting a Khadi Bandar in Gujarati, we call it Khadi Bandar.
Yeah.
Yeah. So because of this epidemic, the demand was affected because people were not able to try the clothing and all. So they were, a bit reluctant to buy also. So similarly in economics, we use demand function, supply function, stuff like that. I have never done HR forecasting. I have never been involved in HR related activities, but I think they must be using something similar, right? In HR.
Same. For example, people are likely to leave in the fourth quarter. Okay, and I'm coming to prescriptive later, but you are absolutely right, Sutta. It can be applied in economics also.
Right.
So that is why the Gartner has got a worldwide acceptance. That it's, looks neat, looks clean. Americans, they always have a 2 into 2 box or, 4 steps because they can't comprehend beyond 5. Whereas we Indians can comprehend 175,000, whatever is given to us.
Sir, can you recommend a workbook, a simple workbook, workbook used by high school students for this subject? Like it would be easier for most of us to, go back to those things because we forget
Okay.
when we,
Analytics primer, maybe I'll send
yeah,
one. But this book, you know, statistics, you start with
okay,
statistics. The book I gave on Edikar, if
yes,
you can. I mean, there are
okay,
many local books also. But
okay,
I learned statistics, and statistics is the base of analytics.
right, 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 right.
Analytics is slightly hi-fi. You know, it's very corporate. Statistics is for children and college students, which I
So
find much more wholesome.
I studied statistics. It was my
So you
secondary,
know.
but I
Because
haven't used it much. So when we don't use it, we actually tend to forget, you know, these things. That is the problem.
I
So
know.
I'll get that book, definitely. I will get that. Thank
So
you very
maybe
much.
start using it. Your IL and FS, you know, IL and FSI. Remember microeconomics?
Yes.
In Accelerate, there was a professor called Reshmi Mitra.
Okay.
So you know all these curves. Okay.
Definitely, sir.
So economics definitely it's used. But
Yes.
thank you. I'll try to send in whatever I can. Okay, both
Thank
for
you very much.
Samita and Sukhas. Nilanjan.
Yeah, sir, I can put this, into for the benefit of my fellow batchmates. So, for example, when I am from Relaxo, so we are Asia's largest footwear manufacturing company. So during COVID, we faced this problem wherein we segment shoes and footwear into two segments, primarily broadly. One is closed footwear and another is open footwear. So during COVID, our closed footwear, that is jogger shoe, sports shoe, their sale got dipped. So we first did a descriptive analytics that what happened. So we realized that since now people are at home, majority of the population, especially the middle class population, and so those who are those related to IT and other who are working from home, so they don't require jogger shoe, sports shoe. And then why did it happen is because of work from home and various other restriction, government restriction. People were not moving out, buying those shoes. People were also not going for morning walks and other things, so which resulted into a dip in the sales of jogger shoes, sports shoes. Then we did a predictive analysis that this trend is likely to remain for next 8 to 9 months, and thereafter how can we make the sales happen. So for the final, that is prescriptive analytics, what we did was that we started to produce more of the open footwear, that is Hawaii slippers, which we wear, and the the EVA related material, the plastic and long lasting durable material, which kind of maintain our sales growth. So by using all these entire model of descriptive, diagnostic, predictive, as well as prescriptive, we achieved the sales which was this is the last year.
Excellent. So he's given a real life example and related with a management sort of an. Thank you so much. Let's give a round of applause. You really good contribution. So they have done it in footwear and how people didn't go out, and then based on practices, they bettered it with open chappals or things which are slightly more friendly than covered ones. Vishal, you have something to contribute.
Yes, sir. So when we submit some thesis, we take some hypothesis that point in time, and then we do analysis in using tools like SPSS or regression analysis. So that comes under this predictive analysis.
Yeah, that comes on the moment you are going beyond reality. Many a times, for example, you will get in one company, I remember, please write a job description. All of us know what's a job description.
Right.
Then I wrote job description. So I took an interview. What do you do for a living? How much time? How much do you give this? Everything done. Then the boss said, no, you have to give, yeah, so this is good. But what they will do in the future also include that in the job description. Then the guy pushes me back. No, this is not what I get paid for. But then I said, your boss has told me to, write such lines that you will, in the years to come, you will be doing fantastic things. Then it's a big problem. So the moment you start extrapolating beyond reality, whether it's a regression or, forward regression or backward,
Regression.
that would be enough prescriptive or predictive.
Okay.
I mean, up to what is real, and real-time data would, so there's a good insight which Vishal has given us. So up to descriptive and diagnostic is what has happened actually. What will happen or may happen is, now nobody has seen tomorrow like that Shah Rukh Khan movie, okay, whether tomorrow comes or not comes. So that is again, but yes, if you can really map like Nilanjan's company did, maybe there are lessons to be learned. But this is a powerful model because nobody has seen tomorrow. Many of your predictions might fail. Many companies have also, lost this way by being fixated on, this model, trying to read into a bit too much and not go by intuition, go by data. So data tells you that the graph will go up. So here, in our, okay, Margaret, I'll first take your question and then maybe we'll have, I have one anecdote on this, but Margaret, first your, your points.
Yes, sir. I have a question. You had mentioned earlier about the value and difficulty mentioned over there on the X and Y axis. I didn't understand at that time when you had explained what it stands for. If you can repeat that,
Okay,
please.
value and difficulty is difficulty in, the level of difficulty in doing this, because this is easy up to hindsight, and value is people will not find a value in, acha, okay, this is history. This has already happened. Like many bosses, you will say, okay, now leave that. What will happen tomorrow, you tell me. Have you come across bosses like that, Margaret?
No, sir.
Okay. So somebody, there will be people who will say that I find great value in this, but value of the, to the consumer really. Here we are actually making it like the consumer. So to the consumer or whoever is the consumer of data, or let's say if I look at Nilanjan's company, who will buy the shoes, they will find it valuable, but it is very difficult for the analytics guy to go up this steep line. Are we clear? Here we could put effort, and here the value is you get much more value by being predictive and by being prescriptive, because anybody can do this. That, okay, sales were bad, COVID had happened. So why did it happen? COVID happened. People didn't go out. But what will happen in the future? That is where the killer guy will play. Does it make more sense now, Margaret?
Yes, sir. I understood it now. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Any other? I saw some few raised hands.
Sir, I have another thing to offer.
Right.
Yeah, this whole model also take me back to my childhood days when I read a book called Stop Worrying and Start Living by Dale Carnegie.
Dale Carnegie. Okay.
Wherein there is a model, 4 questions model, which was coined by Mr. Leon Simpkins, and in that model he has suggested that in words, any kind of problem which you are facing in your life, you can eradicate with 4 questions. What is the problem? What is the cause of the problem? What are the 4 best solutions to eradicate this problem? And what is the best solution you propose me? So if we use this in the same we will find that it has a descriptive analytic, it has a diagnostic analytic, it has a predictive analytic, and it has a prospective analytics also. So what happened, in 30 seconds I will complete. So there was a insurance advisor who was not able to move from a zonal manager club membership to a chairman club membership, that is from a 300 insurance policy per year to a 500 insurance policy per year. So he thought, let me use this model. So first was, what is the problem? So he wrote that the problem is I am not able to sell policies 300 to 500. Means he was stagnating in that. So then he had to do the diagnostic analysis, that what is the cause of the problem. And when he looked into the cause of the problem, he had to go deeper into the data, and he found out that out of all the customer, that is from prospects to customer, there is in sales there is a concept of prospect and then customers. So he analyzed that that people who have become his customers were those people who have taken his insurance policy either in the first go when he approached or in the second go, whereas he was investing more than 75% of his time in doing follow-up with those customers who became his customers after the 3rd, 4th, 5th follow-ups and attempts. So that there was a eureka moment, and that was that approach somebody once, approach somebody twice, but don't approach somebody thrice. And then he got that time out of after analyzing this problem, and his sales increased because now he knew the magic, and that was that after 2 attempts you have to focus on new customer. So and finally his sales increase. So this, what is the problem? What is the cause of the problem? What are the 3 or 4 best solution to eradicate the problem? And what is the best solution you offer me? That's actually is the crux of this figure, which I can see, because it has descriptive, diagnostic, predictive, as well as prescriptive, all the 4 answers.
Thank you so much for that parallel. Okay, that was very enjoyable. That, pretty much with that insurance guy. So, and I remember one story. So there was a manager, okay, and he had 2 subordinates. So he sent them to China. So he said that, look at the market. We want to sell shoes. So he went to China, Beijing, Shanghai, mainland China. So he said, boss, I have gone to China, but I have found that everybody, walking naked feet. I mean, they don't wear shoes. There's no market there. Another guy who went there, he said, boss, everybody walking barefoot. So one barefoot means so many square meters of leather. So many people in China. So the potential is huge. Okay, now whom do you think the boss would have liked? The one who spoke of reality or the one who spoke of potential?
The one who spoke of possibilities.
Potential. So reality and potential are 2 different things, but that is how the world works. Okay, and fake it till you make it. You have to make it because, you haven't seen tomorrow, but there is always a logic. So take it with a little bit of, reality. It's there in your syllabus, but yes, many a times this could go wrong, but fundamentally, it's a good futuristic. How can we make it happen? That is, you will start becoming, you like that guy in the insurance, okay? Or when you're making shoes, which are much more friendly. But good discussion on Gartner. I think Gartner will be very pleased. Okay. So what 2 people, which are our highest, lowest, pretty much what Nilanjan said. Who are my customers? So when we ask these questions, we are actually heading the analytics path. What are they buying? What is the most effective distribution channel? What impact will new products? Now, I'll come to training later, but on business, this is what will be sort of discussed. Which product promotions have the biggest impact on revenue? Okay. Also, which are the people who will go away from me? So we usually do. So data is scattered, many versions, subtle differences. And like that, Coleridge poem, that water everywhere, not a drop to drink. So you get so much of garbled data. I can't understand the data. So there are situations when there is data, but it doesn't give you any meaning. And especially with an untrained guy, he will actually, not do a great job in data mining. So data mining, data search, these are things which is important, and therefore we have a data warehouse, single, complete, and consistent store of data. So for people who are slightly techie, they would have worked in a data warehouse or have taken in data from a data warehouse. Now what happens is data should be integrated. Summary data has a real value. So at the end, you will have to get a historical data. Pretty much what we had said, that unless there used to be a serial called Tamas long back when we were children, or class 11 or 12, by Govind Nihalni, Smita Patil or Shaban Azmi used to, slightly art movie people. So there used to be a quote that those who condemn history, those who forget history are condemned to repeat it. Okay, I remember that line, and maybe I'll write it on the chat. Those who forget history are condemned to repeat it. So in Tamas, that used to be that word, or that used to come as a line. So historical data holds the key, because unless you know the background, it is difficult to get ahead. Yeah, obviously you can do fantastic things like buy another company. Many people say history is bosh, but many people say that history has a significance. What if capability means, what if this happens? Scenario 1, scenario 2, to the power of 1. So these are slightly management jargon, but never mind, this will come. So there used to be a batch report. Then we have a decision support system. The boss doesn't want so much data, so there'll be an EIS. So we have a MIS, which is not there in your syllabus directly, but it's important to learn because the subject is slightly, once you learn data, you are down a path. desktop data access, so graphical user interface. Finally, your data warehousing is integrated with OLAP engines. And here is the thing of data. Warehouses are very large database. So you can see when I asked today what is a byte, it's only 8 bits. But then you have 5 GB, 10 GB, and all your pen drives, all your computers now have massive data which they can hold. Because now, okay, so this may be a quiz question or have it in a mind that you know terabyte is 10 to the power 12, petabyte is 10 to the power 15, exabyte is 10 to the power, and they have given examples. For example, geographic and information system, when they get, you know, when they say that weather report, in Dubai, it will be sunny, while in Mumbai, it will be rainy. So, you know, when they do that in BBC, they're actually getting a whole lot of data. And also here, when they give out the weather report. So when you start as a newscaster, maybe a good idea is to start as a weather reporter. It's a very nice, I like that reporting much more than I like the news. Okay. Zettabytes and zottabytes. Okay, so these are some of the things that will come. Data warehouse is a subject-oriented, time-varying. Okay, time-varying means data will continuously stream in at various times. So this is one guy who made a statement, Bill in one. Now comes that, okay, you have data. Then there's a process of extraction and cleansing that is known as ETL, extract, transact, and I think load, ETL. So it's there in your book. Now we don't need to get into, you know, this level of IT architecture, but it's important that you know. So one is the ERP systems, which is SAP, BAN, Oracle. One is purchase data, which you get from the market. One is legacy data, which your company has already stored. For example, companies which are historically very, very old, 50 years, like NTPC or Microsoft, IBM, 100 years, Tata Steel, 100 years, 20 years, Havel, Godrej. Okay, so there are companies' mortality. The more number of years you have been on the planet Earth, the more legacy data shall you have. Now, you are loading it and then you are doing a query. So I used to do a Brio query. Brio is an Oracle product. So you put your query. How many people have learned mobile in the last quarter? Or how many people have learned communication skills in this? So I put boundary conditions and let's say India market or ASEAN market. Then I put another pivot as, you know, communications or professional development, and then the whole Excel comes in. Or you can have also just segment wise. Okay, so you can have at a very detailed level, you can have line item that this person, Margaret, she studied this course on day paper 9 on 3rd September between 2 to 3:30. That will come. So every timestamp will come. Nilanjan did this, Shukrit did it, or Namrata did it, or Dr. Prem did it. So you will have, or Sarta Mehta will did it. That is a line item. Now, bosses will not be interested in who did it. They'll say how many people. Gabbar Singh question. So, but this is an important, diagram that you keep in mind. Because at the end, at the rightmost corner is what the output is, what the boss will want. That, okay, I don't want to know all this, but give me which way the data is predicting. Okay. Now, what are the application areas quickly coming into? Because I'll also have to give time for your presentations. So one is in finance. Okay, people do credit card analysis. What's your credit history? Do you spend like mad? Or, you know, what is your CIBIL rating, etc. Insurance, claims, fraud. In telecom, what do they check? And they get, you know, they spend money to buy data. So you have call record analysis in transport. Where is the truck stop, logistics management, consumer. So, you know, and this can go on and on for every industry. Therefore, I always, you know, emphasize on which industry you work for, because that is where your application will matter. Okay, data mining in use. Okay, some users, not only the US government, people are using data to win elections, like Prashant Kishore and Sunil Kanuglu. Who's Sunil Kanuglu? Anyone who can tell me who's Sunil I don't pronounce Kanuglu. Anyone, anybody from Bangalore would be able to say. Or who's Prashant Kishore?
Election analyst.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
election analyst.
it says a
Election
Congress
strategist.
strategist.
Yeah, so these are strategies, poll strategies. So every
Poll
company we agree, they are also like companies. So Sunil Kanuglu was the guy who really did the analysis in Karnataka. Okay, which was recently done. So just so similarly, there'll be other people. So data mining can be used. It can be used in sports, and we'll see basketball teams. So there's a movie which I'll come to where they use this technique, cross-selling, warranty claims routing. So you know that historically this has been the data. So you get a good analyst holding on to good customers. Okay, weeding out bad customers. I don't know. Who is a bad customer? Again, a little bit off the point question. Who would be a bad customers are always, Goddess Lakshmi. But who's a bad customer?
Who does not
think
give,
for a credit
make
card
profit.
company, it will be a person who does not repay back.
Who
For
doesn't pay or
insurance,
makes your life hell. Okay. So there are many
for
people
insurance,
playing is
I can say
Just not your
customers
customer.
having more claims, repeated claims.
it's a difficult question. You cannot brand somebody as a bad customer. You simply say, well, we have issues in doing business with him. You are slightly more polite in your verbiage. Okay, but this slide is very direct. It was actually made by a techie. So, techies, I used to have a guy in IBM who said that, Rahul, you tell me to do Java, I will. Don't tell me to dance. Okay, he never went out for any party or any, So, just on a lighter side. So, weeding out or people whom you don't value. So, these would all give, okay, what is this? What makes data mining? So, data warehousing is something where actually data is kept. Operational, behavioral, demographic. So, like we spoke of elections, there could be similarly for sports, they use data, emergence of evil. So, Gartner Group, maybe I'll try to send something from Gartner. Okay, operational data and decisional data is the last piece, and then we'll go to your presentations. So, run the business in real time. So, there is something known as operational data and decisional data. Operational data is mainly for people who are on the ground. Okay. And decisional data is for the executives who, based on the aggregate data, will take a decision whether to enter into a new market, whether to wind up business somewhere, etc., etc. Used by people who deal with, this last line is important, clerks, salespeople, etc. And increasingly used by customers. They also want operational data. So here's a sort of a, Excel sheet pasted here. So you have a data customer file, everybody uses legacy application volumes, account balance is used by finance, point of sale data used by retail. So every time you go to a mall in Spencer or Big Bazaar, wherever you go. Okay, DMart in Bombay, in Pune, I used to like that. It used to be a small DMart. DMart was a good mall. Anyway, wherever you go, all these data, you will keep a trace of your data. Therefore, many people use only rupees. Okay, they don't give credit card. They only use cash. Anyway, now the world is changing. India is famous for, digitization, call record, telecom people use it. For manufacturing, they keep production records. And the right-hand side shows the technology in which it is there. Okay, I'm not getting into deep here. So this is, OLTP versus data warehouse. Again, it goes up. Okay, no data redundancy. So OLTP is just, operational legacy transaction processing. So basically more operational detailed data, whereas warehouse DSS is slightly more summarized data. It is what the boss would want to know. So therefore, nothing is good, nothing is bad, only that if you look at the database size, OLTP can only handle 100 to so much, whereas this can be much higher. Okay, transaction.
OLTP was organizational,
operational, legacy transaction processing. Okay, just let me once. I think there was a slide up there. This was back. Just a minute. Online transaction processing. Sorry, online. I was mistaken. It was online transaction processing. OLAP. OLAP is a tool. Actually, OLAP, there's a training on OLAP. Okay. And this is online transaction processing. OLTP. And there's one called OLAP, which is online analytics processing. So the difference between the two is one is transactional, one is slightly relational. Query throughput is hundreds of users managed by subsets. So you'll have to have very good data privacy. Otherwise, people will bugger your data. To summarize, OLTP are used to run a business. Data warehouse is to optimize a business. Now, what is the meaning of optimize? This is an important question. So is the OLTP question answered? Online transaction processing.
So to enhance the business more, look for more ways, create new markets, that ways growth aspect.
Yeah, that way this is much more important. A data warehouse. Okay, but what is optimize?
Get the maximum benefit out of it.
So minimum or
Okay, so here again it's an operation research. So that you know it once and for all, there are three things which happen. If resources are infinite, there is no need to optimize. There are three things in an operations research problem. For example, okay, let me give you first. One is objective function. Let me write it here. Then would come boundary conditions. Then would come decision variables. Now, for example, I tell you, Namrata, that you'll have to make, I give you 15 people, you'll have to make, I give you 30 cubic meter of wood, you'll have to make tables and chairs. So this is the manpower you get, this is the wood you get. One chair would have 20 rupees profit, one table would have 40 rupees profit. How many chairs and tables would you make? So here, there is a boundary condition that you have so much of people, you have so much of wood. Beyond that, even if you break your head, nothing will be available. Plus, you have been told, so that is the boundary condition. What is your objective function? To maximize profit or to minimize loss, whatever could be the situation. And finally, what would be the decision variable? The number of chairs and the number of tables. A very simple, operations research problem. So the moment we come to such a situation, the word optimize is used. Okay, now we use it very sparingly as minimal or maximal. But if resources were infinite, then the word optimal doesn't come in. Clear?
Yes, the manpower usage also and everything, wherever I can save cost.
Optimize is whenever there's a boundary condition, you have to optimize. If there is no boundary condition, you have, everything in abundance. Okay, honey, milk, no need of managers, no need of diploma programs. But the moment there's a crunch, then you need to optimize. Are we clear?
Sir, I missed the last point. This is a variance. What did you mention in that?
So I said three things, Dr. Shipra. One
Yes,
was
sir.
objective function. Okay. So maybe the objective function is to maximize profit or to have
Correct.
more learning hours, etc. I'll come to training learning later. Let's take business. So business is to minimize cost. Number one. Second is you have boundary conditions that you have so many people and you have so much money. Beyond this, you cannot get. Finally, your decision variables, like I use the example of chairs and tables. So you have so much of wood, you have so much of manpower, you need to, one chair will give you 20 rupees profit, one table will give you, like when you have a product portfolio. So let's say you have 5 products, some sell very well, some don't sell very well. So when you have this, you optimize. So can we say, yeah, in simple language, Parul has said it, but I made it slightly difficult because, that is your basis for operations research. Best use of resources when resources are not infinite. Shipra, are you
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay,
This
some
is a
new
very
learning.
important. Thank you.
Okay, so this is about, operations research, but these are all very close. This subject is slightly, that is why I like this subject. It's slightly left-brained. And then we come to the, L&D part where, but Parul, thank you so much for that. Can we say that optimum is the best from? Yeah. Okay, reporting tools, I'm not getting into Brio query, but it's good if, let's say, somebody tells you the generate a training report. So I used to do Brio query. Not that I was a great expert, but I knew as a user how to do. So, and I'm skipping over this slide. And finally, going on to what is big data. So we know extremely large sets of data, etc. Yan, by the year 22, 1.75 again. Quintillion of data. Shopping is much more focused. Okay, all of you know this. You all are, very informed consumers. 360 view, again, Yan, smart city solution. Okay, people can use data to have smart cities. Like Singapore is a smart city. India also has many smart cities, intelligent cities. Characteristics of big data. Okay, just remember the three things in this class: volume, variety, and velocity. Okay, and veracity. Okay, this is important. What is veracity? How truthful is your data? Some data is sort of, it's compromised. Volume is terabytes to petabytes. Variety is structured, unstructured. Okay, streaming data is slightly difficult. So, for example, you are getting streaming, like they show NDTV reporting from Ludhiana. So, there's always a loss. Sometimes you can't hear pretty much. Like we are having this class, there's a continuous. When Gurvinder sends you the crowd recording, it is actually data in motion. We speak, all our interactions are captured. Finally, the veracity. So remember the 4 V's: volume, variety, velocity, veracity. Okay, this is not really required. What is the difference between a data analyst and a data scientist? So a data analyst will have to know SQL, which is, standard query language, Python or R. Collaborate. Okay, he'll also have to do a little bit of dance. He'll have to talk with people. But a data scientist will not do anything other than data, cleaning and reorganizing data, presenting findings in an easy to understand way. What will a data scientist do? He will gather, clean, process raw data. So he has no human interface. Therefore, many people prefer this job because they don't have to talk with people. Many people prefer this job because they can show their skills as well as play around with data. So just remember this, because you may have a career, who knows, as a data analyst. Data visualization tools, dashboards, reports. Okay, so data scientist is at the back end. Analyst comes as a, but maybe because, now statistics is no longer valid. Okay, this again, Gyan slide, still a lot to achieve. Okay, not much of big data is being analyzed, etc. What we expect, demands of real time cognitive. Okay, and this has already come. This slide was made slightly earlier. Now it has gone into robotics and generative AI. So, okay, industry view telecom. So in telecom, call detail record is, that is very important for KPIs for sales marketing. Data again, analytics in FMCG, we all know. Like when you go to a store, retail store, they have this retention point, redeem points. I mean, so many of us use Amazon, so many things. I'm not in pharma. Obviously, it's after COVID, it's become a hot industry. One of the few industries which did well during COVID, one was pharma, one was banking, and the ones which went down was entertainment, all these, travel, transportation. Who is this guy?
Brad Pitt.
Brad Pitt.
Okay. Which is this movie he did? And why is this movie important for your syllabus? There is a movie called Moneyball. Okay, so watch it this weekend or whenever you get time. When he took all, tuta-futa people who have been discarded, baseball players. For example, if I now take Ganguly, if I take Dhoni, and make a team and start beating Hardik Pandya and, people who play regularly. So he did this, and, there was a guy who helped him. So I really want you to watch the movie from a data analyst point of view, Moneyball. And this was another by Tom Cruise, Minority Report. okay, where they could preempt suicides, a crime, sorry. So in America, let's say before a crime happens, there are certain signals. For example, in Indian mythology, we said that before a bhukamp or an earthquake, birds chirp, chirp, stop chirping, or there are so many natural things. Rats scurry around because they can feel the trembling of the earth. Similarly, in US, this was a movie by Tom Cruise, where it was on a Minority Report, where they could preempt a crime, a suicide, or a girl killing a boy, or a boy killing a, etc., etc. It's a good movie. Now, this is for your homework. Do you like this homework?
Very much, sir.
Okay, so these are based on predictive analytics. So try to watch it. Okay, because otherwise, it will become boring. I'll talk of data warehouse, zettabyte, petabyte, which you will say, oh my God, this guy has come with operations research and decision variable. Where Parul simply says that, sir, can we just say making the best out of the worst? So that is what I want to say, but I also want to sensitize you on your language. Now that you are slightly polluted with data analytics, speak a little bit of data points, okay, pretty much, like many of your peers do. Then you'll be regarded that you have really done this course. Okay, one final, this will be a homework before we have another 8-10 minutes. Revenue expenses. So there's this balance scorecard, okay, which I'll send you. So your homework, so there are 4, okay. I cannot give you the homework like this. So in a dashboard, because we have small time, so a company, it's like, the balance scorecard was a paper by Norton and Kaplan. I will send that HBR paper through you. Now, apart from the Gartner book, let me try, because many of you are interested in Gartner. Now, financial perspective, earlier only financial perspective was looked at a company's health. That a company's shares is doing good, nothing else matters. When we go to to buy, let's say anything, do you ask, are you ISO 9000? Are your employees well paid? Let's say you go and buy ice cream, Baskin Robbins. Do you ask, hey, where did this happen? Which is your factory? Many people may ask these days, but normally we just pay the money, buy. If it's good, we again buy. If it's bad, we never go. But today they are saying that have a 360 view. One is a financial perspective, which was initially that shareholders are happy, you give them a good dividend. All elderly people, 70 plus, tottering into the boardroom. That used to be yesterday. So people say, okay, yours is a great company, you're PayPal. The other day I was on and we were together with Sukrit. Okay, so there was this, so many people will say we are good. So, in this financially, you are doing well. Customer, they'll say, okay, so customer perspective is the second one. Is the customer saying good about you or they're bad mouthing you? Now, nobody will bother about your internal process. How efficient are you? Whether, your productivity is good. And finally, even more or less, they'll ask about, are your people trained? Do your people leave you, etc. So Norton and Kaplan said way back earlier, 30 years ago, that look at a company from 4 angles. And this will be your homework for the next day. So the homework is, before I come to your presentation, to hit on the right metrics. I leave the table teams. You are now formed teams. So on 4 areas of any company, what would be the metrics to track? So for example, in financial, profit after tax, choose an industry. Whatever you give me is good. So one team will choose financial, maybe yellow team. Green team chooses customer metrics, quality, rate of return, CSAT, etc. One will choose process. Was it good? Productivity, efficiency, cycle time, etc. One will look at growth, number of patents, number of people trained in a year. So I'm just giving you hints. I'll send you the document of Kaplan and Norton, and then you figure it out. So next day, it will be your presentation, but for now, it will be your chance. Okay, now I know it's difficult. I have given you very little time. It's 3:20, but we still have 10 minutes. So whichever team wants to go first, you are ready to present. I stop talking for today.
The team green then.
Nilanjan, tell me.
Sir, can we share? Do we have the sharing rights?
I think you have, otherwise I'll have to do just see.
Share screen, yes, I can, I think. Disabled, sir.
Disabled.
Or,
Disabled.
or else I can, sir, attach in the chat room and maybe you can project.
But how can I make you presenter? Just give me one sec. Host.
So you can make him the co-host.
Yeah, how do I make him the co-host?
Just click on three
That's
buttons. You will find
Acha.
against the name, there's three buttons.
Against the name, there are three buttons. So Namrata wants to present.
Yes, sir.
I'm making Namrata co-host. You want make? I'm making Nilanjan co-host. Who is your team, Nilanjan? Nilanjan and Namrata in one team?
No, sir, we are different team.
Different teams. Okay, she's already fastest. I gave the lady the first chance. You will get the second chance.
Fastest finger first.
Yeah.
No. But thank you, Team Go Green. You have 5 minutes, then you give to Nilanjan. Today we take 2 presentations, the next day we take another 2. Okay,
So,
because
sir, I'll shorten the whole thing now, whatever, because time is less. So I'll
Time
just
is less.
touch on the main. Sir, not work. This one is okay. So we spoke. Acha, now I want to talk about this important data in aviation industry. Now, sir, you had also mentioned about the different kind of planes, but as per the research, we cannot talk about the types because there are like thousands and thousands of types because they go through the engine type. So when we are collecting data in aviation industry, it is quite a tedious one, which I could make out. So this is the 360 view. What kind, the whole type of data can be summarized into these 3 main types, which we have identified as a team. So first is your definitely operational data, third-party data, and customer data. And who all takes it? It's very important to know how frequently it is taken and who is responsible for it. So the responsible party for data collection includes your flight crew, your aircraft system, maintenance personnel, engineers, cabin crew, air traffic control, and specialized monitoring systems. So your operational data is used by airlines, but mostly for operational purpose or management. Customer data refers to the information and insights related to individuals or entity that interacts with aviation companies, including airlines, airport related services, your stakeholders as well, including the passengers. Of course, that's the most important. Third-party data are the least exploited data right now. That, however, could benefit a lot to the airlines for their retail activities because it comprises of both the open data like weather, social media trends. I'll talk about all that. I'm just giving a little summary because I just have to talk about the important things now. So, like I said, 3 types. So I wanted to talk how the language which the engineers and the pilots use for operational data are as per the checks. They call it ACD checks. So A would be something which is which occurs after every specific number of flight or number of hours. Like for example, after every 400 to 800 flight hours, they are supposed to collect this. And C checks are more comprehensive than A checks and they're performed less frequently. So like in between 18 to 24 months. And that is also thorough, but the most thorough data which they have to collect, analyze are the D checks, which is heavy maintenance ones. So this is what basically the engineers and the pilots do it. And operation data, some examples are along with the frequency guys and who is supposed to collect it. So I have mentioned it, like for example, flight data, it is continuously throughout the flight crew and aircraft system is responsible for it. Remaining are the financials, the air traffic management, cyber security, very important because they are under constant threat all the time. And the frequency is mentioned. Sir, you want me to explain this or should I just move? Because we have very little time now.
I think this is good enough. This is very good.
So customer data, passenger, payment, security, baggage, Again, feedbacks, very crucial. And aviation is right now working, they were using very traditional methods. So now they are aware that why don't we collect this whole 3 data, combine them together, study it, and make it more customized for the customer, right? So there are new ways. Some companies have started, some airlines have started to make it more customized, and of course the revenues goes high that way. So this is the frequency and who's supposed to take it. Then the third party data, again, your marketing, your weather, airspace, they do it. The frequency is periodic, some are monthly, some are daily. And the third party aviation, even the government agency, you can see the passenger screening is done with the help. So it's not just the airport authorities. Approach. The second question was that how do we really approach the data analytics? And so you were talking about predictive analytics prescription. This is a part of that. So I'll just quickly just summarize it. So data collection and storage is for storing this huge volume of data. You spoke about those 4 V's. This is included in that. Data cleaning and pre-processing, because it's all raw data combining. So you need to clean what is valid, what is not valid, and then make a sense out of it. Then data integration is comprehensive view of operation. This involves combining the flight data with maintenance, weather, and everything put together. Descriptive is basically visualize the historical data because it provides the insights into the past trends, and it helps in understanding the current state of operation. Predictive, like we spoke about, it forecasts events such as maintenance needs, delays, passenger demand. Then prescriptive analytics are to recommend action based on predictive models. For example, suggest optimal routes to avoid the bad weather, right? Propose maintenance. Even the war is going on. The flights did not take over Ukraine. We were avoiding certain routes. So that has to be done. And minimum time, then you have to see your fuel time also. So that data has to put in how much fuel is there. If you're rerouting, you have that or not. Then real-time monitoring. Implement real-time monitoring system to track ongoing operations, and you receive the alerts. Collaborate. You foster collaboration between different departments like operation, maintenance, finance. Continuous improvement, because continuous refine, updation of model based on the new data. This needs changing from time to time. So this was the approach. I'll request Amarnath to quickly take us through, because this is a team presentation. So I'll request Amarnath to talk about the benefits, the turbulences, and the way forward.
Thank you, Namrata. So talking about the benefits which we found out during the discussion and while compiling this data on aviation, this then benefits are clearly on enhanced predictive maintenance. We can have improved safety. We can ensure safety of the whole critical aspects of the aviation industry. We can optimize the flights, as Namrata mentioned, the route optimization based on informed decisions, demand forecasting, personalized passengers. We can enhance the experience of the experience with respect to fuel efficiency, crew management, air traffic management, maintenance, inventory, etc. So these were the benefits which we could collate with respect to this. And there are turbulences, there are challenges with the data. Obviously, there is huge lot of data which gets generated in the industry. So there are challenges with respect to how to handle those data, how to integrate the data to make informed decision. And with respect to the processing technologies, we need to have uh, sufficient or capable technologies to handle those data. These are the challenges which we are facing currently. So also there is in less number of people who are aware of the big data, and there are very the capability deficiency is there, which we can say in terms of lack of knowledge on data. So next challenge is on data privacy, as we are seeing that still India is coping with and different policies to handle the data privacy and security of data in India itself. So we can see that this is a challenge, data privacy and security. So lastly, to just summarize, as Namrata has covered, this was uh, uh, how the this aviation industry basically began and how it is catering to the humans. So a summary in this slide is trying to say is that it was the basic function of the aviation industry to facilitate comfortable journey to humans, facilitate good transport across the globe, facilitating humans reach across globe, drastically minimizing time of journey. So the data around this, all the human aspect was there. And I think if we look around this, we can find ample amount of data, and we can make meaningful decisions to that will be a meaningful approach to collect the data in aviation industry. So with this, I think we have covered how to go about meaningful data in this industry. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, Amarnath, for that. Very good. Very well done. Can we give them a big round of applause to Namrata and the team? Did you find it enjoyable?
It was too quick.
Yes.
Hardly.
Lots of information, though limited time, but the entire team have put up the presentation really well, I guess, with the information.
I really must congratulate you. You did a lot of good work, and that is what you knew about industry. Only coaching tip is that aviation is very much of a controlled, regulated industry. So maybe the role of the DGCA or the Director General of Civil Aviation, they will have some data diktats. That apart, all the right noises were made. So Namrata, who and Nilanjan, what we'll do is today, do you have a class at 4?
No, sir. Yes, sir, we have a class.
Okay, so I'll park yours for
talent
the next
management,
day.
who was selected the other one. It
So,
is for those, sir, who have selected
data struck. So Nilanjan, to do justice, we'll do it the next day. Your presentation will come first.
Okay, sir.
And for the other teams, but thank you. I really wanted, and you're so good at class. You have taken everything, given back much more. But hopefully there was some learning today.
Yes, sir, certainly.
On the things. And lastly, to end with Namrata and the team. This was which team? This was a red team or yellow team or?
Go green team, sir.
Go
green team. Achha. So green team, did everybody, I mean, people are busy, I know. But did you get Amarnath and did you get other people too? Okay, but good. I will not ask further, but try to be with this team as far as practical. I know people will have challenges, and this is not, it's not marked. I don't give you credit for it, but my heart really warms when you really do a good job.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, on that note, I'll leave you today. And Nilanjan,
yes,
the
sir.
next day you will be up first.
Right, sir. Right, sir. Okay.
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 Sir, the 10th September, can you just let me know again? So you're sending this case study.
Okay, 10th September, there is no case study. 10th September, this is the homework. 10th September is this. I will send you a balanced scorecard. Okay, and the exercise is this. Sorry, this you did, hospitality. Nilanjan, were you yellow team?
Yes, sir. Yellow.
Okay, so hospitality will start later. Aviation is done. One is insurance, and if anybody has done. So this was your team. Okay, sorry. Nilanjan, Dr. Prem. 10th is that, let me color code this. And when I send you, so maybe financial is for the yellow team, which means that what are the metrics that you will gather? You can choose any industry. Okay, but financial, people would look at share price, people would look at debt asset ratio. So give a story like you gave today on financial metrics. Okay, yellow team. For green team, give a feel of customer metrics like customer satisfaction, net promoter score, CSAT, etc., number of returns, customer related metrics. For blue team, give one process like,
you're sending something as per that company you're saying, or I can select any.
You can select anything, but it has to be on customer. I just want a feel of the balance scorecard.
Any company, okay.
Yeah, any company or any industry. Company is good if that is on your mind. Process would be, let's say,
Sir, won't it be good if you can suggest the industry? In that case, we all 4 team will cover the entire 4 quadrants of that particular industry. So it will have a meaning.
Which
We can have a
industry do you
peaceful
want,
discussion.
Nilanjan?
So
So
let's assume
something
it
that
could be
was
IT
not there.
sector, manufacturing, or any sector.
IT, but can we take education industry?
Yeah,
Because
yeah. So,
let's
right,
take
sir. So,
education. That is what is binding us together. L&D,
right.
other than we did a little bit of, travel tourism. So
Right.
we'll take the education industry.
So,
We can continue with the
so we
industry
will do
with
the financial aspect of education. Go Green team will do the customer aspect of education.
So
Similarly,
Green team will do the customer aspect of education.
Right.
And education would mean colleges, universities, plus
Right.
L&D teams in. Maybe we take L&D teams also in corporates because
Right,
they are
okay.
also part of doing corporate education.
Okay, sir. So in
Financial
this
customer
case,
green, yeah, financial is yellow, customer is green, process is blue, which means number of hours worked, efficiency, etc., productivity, things which are very operations CO track. So just think of this: what the CFO will track, what the CMO will track, what the COO will track, and what the okay. This is slightly difficult. Growth is number of patents, innovations. That is the red team. What sort of new things are you doing in the education industry? I mean, you cannot give a narrative, you'll have to give a number or a metric like Namrata and Amarnath give. Clear?
So,
Rupali raised hand.
so I have a request for Medha.
Yeah.
So, along with Nilanjan, can we also present in the next class? We did put up a presentation.
Sorry, Famida, one more time.
So, we did put up presentation. So, if with Nilanjan, can we also, present in the next class?
Yeah. I mean, the presentation which didn't happen today
Yes,
on
sir. Yes.
insurance, I guess. That was your industry?
So, energy utilities.
Energy utilities. We'll do that next day.
Sure, sir. Thank you.
Okay, I'm very happy that you are all charged up because, otherwise I also have to say something. So I get slightly carried on. I should have ended earlier, but I'm mindful that you have a class at 4 o'clock. So we have gone beyond. Hopefully this is generating some interest.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
sir. Can I say
Yes, sir.
something?
Yeah, please, Rupali. Rupali wanted to, sorry, I didn't.
No, what I was saying is for 10 September, can we continue with the same industry?
You
what
can
we are
continue with
doing?
the same industry.
So why I'm
And
saying is at the end we'll have a whole approach of that industry, that one particular industry. If we are
okay, I
working
think
with.
Nilanjan, that is a better idea what Rupali says. Let's stick to the industry where we are in.
So,
aviation customer then.
But sir,
Customer
we will not be able to understand. We will not understand the balance scorecard if we don't do for one industry. Balance scorecard is summation of all 4 aspects.
Maybe I'll do a central assimilation. Leave it that on me. But if people find comfort in the way they're approaching, let it go that way.
Okay, sir.
Because again, Rupali will say education will put us off. So you stay with your industry, give me customer, process, the four areas. But I'll send you that balance scorecard paper, not on Kaplan, that is important to read. The paper says like a pilot, when he's flying a plane, he'll look at the engine, he'll look at the oil pressure, he'll look at the altimeter. Okay, like, did you watch this movie, Runway 34, Ajay Devgan? Or I think 34 or something. Watch that movie. So the second part when Amitabh Bachchan comes in, the disaster starts. Somehow, this man always pontificates. Anyway, that's my personal. But till Ajay Devgan is around, Runway or 34, I think the name of the movie, and so many. If you watch Sully by Tom Hanks. So what a pilot does is he looks at altimeter. He looks at air pressure. He looks at everything. So that is what the business CFO, CEO is supposed to look at entirety. Not only that my stock markets are doing very well. So no more questions asked, like it was there in the yesteryears. When the Tatas and the Birlas, they used to rule the roost, shareholder push, so we are all happy. But today times have changed because people are discerning. They would look at your customer, they would look at your processes, they would look at your innovation. So for example, Nike used to sell carpets or sell shoes by deploying cheap Indonesian labor, under 12 children. So once, there are so many issues now coming in. McDonald's is being accused of obesity. Once upon a time, McDonald's was celebrated for healthy good food when Ray Kroc started it. So times change. So the importance of balanced scorecard, Nilanjan, I'll highlight maybe by putting something central. But for the moment, you carry on with the industry you are in.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Sorry, I went quite a bit overboard. You have 20 minutes to have chai and, do whatever. And then 4 o'clock again, your classes begin. So much for today. And thank you again, Namrata and Amarnath, for making it, a different voice, giving so much of data on aviation. Just remember that DGCA part.
Yeah, right, sir. So actually, my brother is a captain with Indigo. So I took a bit of his help, but he was laughing on my question. He said, "Do you have any idea how huge it is not going to fit in your one PPT?" So whatever little I could get from him, but
hopefully he didn't say that your professor is a nut.
No, he didn't say that. He said it's a very good question, but it's like thousands. I asked him about types of aircrafts. He said there are thousands of engine and different manufacturers, and it's huge. We take it like this. So, and mine is different. We have engineer is very different. They're not talking they're very different departments. So I asked him if I can talk to an engineer, talk to interview people and all of that way I could collect so that we understand this better.
Excellent. I really value your efforts. And Nilanjan, next time we'll hear yours. I mean, it's, you be together. That is my whole idea. What you present is okay. That is good. But then be together, learn together, and we'll reach somewhere. Okay, bye for now.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, sir.